Cicero, Lipschitz. No, it's Roro after midnight. Oh, welcome to another episode with a new time of Ram Roro after midnight. And if you look down there, there's a nightly live stream via Facebook. Oh, I forgot to change the time, so I'm gonna change it. We now start at 12:01 a.m. Central, that's Chicago time, 1:01 Eastern time, and 10:01 Pacific. Oh, time change. Let's do the time change again. Love that song. Anyway, I'm not gonna do my ticker right now, but so you can follow me on Facebook, Roro the Tenor, or YouTube at Filipino Tenor, and also you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Roro the Tenor on both. So we jump immediately to the joke of the day. What is the joke of the day? What did one firefly say to the other? You go, girl! Okay, and pickup line of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is... I hear you're looking for a stud. Well, I've got the STD and all I need is you. Oh, nasty. Ladies and gentlemen, joke and pickup line of the day generously donated by my husband, Steven. And you can follow me on Instagram at Steverino Hunter. And as always, please, when you are going outside, or if you're living in a condo building or apartment building and you go into the hallways or common areas, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, and make sure you do not give them your phone number, even if you had a really good time. Okay, thank you. Now, for my very special guest, okay? You better hit record wherever you are because this is amazing. To quote that white girl from Kim's Convenience, it's amazing. For an amazing night, I'd like to bring to you just you know what? I'm not really good at introducing a lot of people because these are friends. And, when you're friends with them, you just tell them they're amazing singers. They're amazing people. They're fashionable. This one specifically is fashionable. As you can see, look at that. Who is that girl? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Miss Alyson Cambridge. Alyson Cambridge, soprano of the Met, Lyric, and Broadway. And I'm the only one here, so I have to do this now. And scene. Yes, she's here.
Hi.
Hi. Say hi to everyone.
It's so good to see you in particular, and so good to see everybody who's out there watching. Hi.
Yes. Hi. So you have a Christmas tree over there. Are there gifts under that tree?
Not yet. I'm glad that I even got this much up and done so far. But yeah, it's nice to have a real tree in a New York City apartment. It's like 10 feet tall. It's a big one.
It is nice. Yes, and it's twinkling, just
it
like
is.
you.
Sparkles.
Yes. So it's like Alyson told me, it's like, well, how am I gonna dress tonight? Like, it's like, is it casual? Is it glam for the interview? And I said, it's cash glam. Okay. Cash glam. Like, I'd give money for that. Okay. On the spot to go. Anyway, so you can follow Alyson at Alyson Cambridge on Instagram and Twitter, and you could visit her website at www.alysoncambridge.com. So for most of the show tonight, you will see down below all of her information. And also, I also added there www.rockmeamadeuslive.com, which she will explain later on. That is her most current project and most current thing that she's like really passionate about. And I've checked it, and I think it's very innovative. And we'll talk about that more. Okay, now we a little bit of background about Alyson. So I call it All in the Family. So she's going to talk about where she born and raised, just, how many people in their family, where she grew up, yada, yada, yada. Take it away, Alyson.
Yeah. So I grew up in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., and I come from a very diverse background. My father is of Caribbean descent from Guyana, and my mother is Scandinavian. She's Danish and Norwegian. And I have a younger brother who also lives in the DC area. And and so I just grew up with a very sort of mixed cultural background, which I loved very much and take a lot of pride in. And and then I made the move to NYC a little bit after college, and that's about it.
So now tell us about, first of all, you are a singer and you're an actress and you are also, into fashion. And, I've always been like, it's about, presenting yourself in a very either formal or a very presentable way. So it's always a good impression, whoever it is that you talk to. It's not always about gowns and everything. Sometimes you said you're very sporty, very athletic. You'd be like, wearing your athletic, gear. So it's always about fashion. Who are your influences, role models, either as a singer, as a fashion person? So tell us.
So I mean, when it came to singing, my earliest influences honestly were pop singers. I mean, I was completely obsessed with Whitney Houston and with Madonna. And it was a fluke in some ways that I ended up becoming an opera singer because I just had a naturally operatic voice. And my very first voice teacher, heard that right away. And then I would say I had a mild obsession with Kathleen Battle. Yes. And I would say she's maybe one of the first people in classical music, in opera, that I took very careful notice of how she carried herself. Just always such poise and grace. And this is just me seeing her, from the audience, and she just commanded so much presence, and she was a petite woman. And I just remember that about her. Vocally, Leontine Price, same thing though, in terms of, just wow, that presence, that elegance and power. And then I'd say more recently, Renee Fleming. I worked at the Met I've worked there for many years since I moved to New York in 2003. And I did a show with her, and I just remember, I was playing a secondary role. It was Thais, and I was singing the role of Crobile, and she was Thais. And I remember her just coming into rehearsal that first day and introducing herself to everybody and just being so kind, always so well prepared, and sort of the anti-diva that I had been told that exists in the opera world. And I appreciated that so much about her. And I got to know her, obviously, over the years and in other productions and other areas. And we work in charities together and whatnot. And so that's sort of the progression of certainly operatic role models and influences. And when it comes to fashion, get out of here. There's just too many.
Too many. Well, talk about Renee Fleming. I think I agree with Renee Fleming. When my debut at the Met in 2009, I was in Rosencavalier, and I had to do in Act 1. I have to keep repeating the same line for Maestro de Bart, and then I'm like, it's my debut. I'm thinking, okay, oh my God, if I don't do this right, I'm gonna get fired. You're not gonna get fired. That's what rehearsals are for. And Renee, just looked at me just on the side and says, honey, you're doing really well. She didn't have to do that, but she did. Just so you know, she's the most down-to-earth person. It's so anyway, never mind. So just briefly, so at least people know where you did your training, where you went to school, if you did, more than just one school, and then we know the training in the Met, and then maybe you could talk about that quick.
Yeah. So like I said, I grew up in Washington, D.C. area. So I went to Sidwell Friends School for high school, but I took my voice lessons and other music lessons at the Levine School of Music. And I have to say, I'm still very, very close with everybody at the Levine School. In fact, I'm hosting their virtual gala for them in the springtime. So big shout out to Levine School of Music. Then I did my undergraduate at Oberlin. And I was actually a double degree. I went to Oberlin College, where I majored in sociology, pre-law, and the Conservatory of Music, where I majored in voice performance. So I have a BS and a BM. And then when I left Oberlin, I went to Curtis, but just for 1 year. So I started my master's there, and then halfway through my first year, I ended up winning the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions. And then the next fall, I went into the Met Lindemann Young Artist Development Program. And I was in that program for 3 years. And then the Met really was sort of my home company, if you can have a home company, probably for the first, I'd say like 5 or 6 years of my career. But I was doing mainly sort of like the supporting roles and sort of like the sexy sidekick and stuff like that. And then I started, my voice sort of kept growing and changing happily. And then I moved on to, to bigger roles and singing all over the world. And so
where we go to, starring Miss Alyson Cambridge. I should be like, you know what? I should keep myself because I'm like doing this while you're Alyson Cambridge. Okay. Oh my God! It's like I'm getting ready now. So Alyson has done so many roles, and her most notable roles have been Madame Butterfly, Carmen, Hannah, Donna Elvira, and Clara and Bess, and Porgy and Bess, and Julie. It's funny if you look at this whole list. It's like they're all in different fonts.
Hello, talk about. I will just say this. I will say this. You know what? I'm so thankful for where we are in the industry right now, because I really was just like, you could not put me in any specific place. And I think it drove I had one agent for the one I had the longest was probably for 10 years. And it was like every 3 years or so, 2 or 3 years or so, like another dimension of my voice would come in. And my voice teacher would always say, well, now I can hear you in this role, or now I can hear you in this role. And my agent would be like, okay, we need to stick to one fuck, darn it. But
exactly.
But to be honest, I'm really grateful for all of the sort of like the general directors and managers or whatever and conductors who really knew me throughout the years, who were like, yeah, okay, I know that you were maybe singing Susanna like 3 years ago, but actually I hear you singing this now. And oh, you were more of a Muzetta, now you're a Mimi. Oh, wait, now you've graduated to Madame Butterfly. And so I'm very grateful for that, because like my voice all those roles that you just named, I mean, they all feel great. And it doesn't really matter if you call me a soprano or a sufficient or whatever you want to call me.
Yeah, it's so cool because I think one of the only singers I know personally. It's like, look at me. Did you drop it? Let me pick it up again. One of the only personal people I know who have actually done at least half of this, because she can't do like Clara and Bess, but is Ana Maria Martinez, who has done Butterfly, Carmen, Elvira, because of the voice that is so what is that? You guys are chameleons when it comes to just being able to embody the role, not just vocally, but actually physically and just character. Yes, dramatic.
I think that's one of the things that like attracts me to some of these roles the most. Like Madame Butterfly, I can't wait to do the next one. I can't wait to do my next Carmen. They're such acting challenges, like in the best way. And when I feel like actually throw my dramatic sensibility into a role, because I do all the vocal work way before. Do you know what I mean? Like the technique is set before I get into the rehearsal process, so that the technique and the voice is in a way is almost on autopilot. So you know that's going to work. And then when you add in the physicality and the drama, it takes it to another level. You know what I mean? But you always know what's going on here. So yeah, I'm trying to think of the last, I did 2 Carmens in a row last season. And it was just from my debut to like the last one, which was like whatever 8 shows later, I just felt like I'd grown so much. It was such an awesome feeling.
Well, now it's like, oh, it's been me. Actually, I'm going to take mine off because you know what? I do not have any other producers for this. We're going to show some pics of Alyson's performances. This is Carmen. Now tell us exactly which one, because I couldn't caption this because I didn't know exactly which Carmen this is from.
So this is from the production that I did at Opera Carolina,
Okay.
and Toledo Opera.
It was the same production.
Yes, it was the same production, but this specific photo was taken at Opera Carolina. I remember that. Yeah.
What about this one? This is Donna Elvira in Don Giovanni. This is so cool. The hair.
That's my hair. That's my hair. So if people don't I guess I've been wearing it straight for such a long time now, but that was in 2011 at the Savonlinna Festival. But yes, my hair was used to be way, way, way down my back, and it's naturally super, super curly. So that's all my hair.
And this one is the butterfly. Is this the one
that's at Florentine?
At the Florentine, yes.
Yeah. Where you and I worked together.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to do that.
I know, but then I got you the next season.
I know. Then the next season we worked together in, Merry Widow. She was the widow. She was the widow, and I was the Mary. Hey! Okay, and then this one, I like this. Every time I see this.
Oh my gosh! So that is my Washington National Opera debut, 2005, as Clara in Porgy and Bess, with one of my favorite co-stars ever, Eric Green as Jake. And I mean, that role, that production started off a whole thing for me, because that production was directed by Francesca Zambello. And that was the start of a very beautiful relationship with she and I. We've worked together a gazillion times since then, and I'm so grateful for that debut. I really am.
And then we worked together on this one, Tales of Hoffman. I couldn't remember the year really, but
that was 2012.
Yeah, I think so. 2012. Yes, and you were Giulietta.
As Giulietta. That was my lyric debut.
Yes. Oh my God, this was amazing. Oh, anyway, this is where Alyson and I. This is the first time we worked together.
I think that's the first time we worked together. I think we'd met at the Met before then, but this is the first time.
So it's funny. We met at the Met, and then we also competed for the Iturbi one year. It's a long time ago. Yeah. Next picture.
I'm sorry. Have to get that one.
I know. So this is the next one. Yes. This is one of your signature roles. This is one of your most talked about roles. Amazing. Yes.
This is Julie in Showboat, and this one is from Dallas Opera 2016. Yes, spring 2016 at Dallas Opera. And this is one of my all-time favorite roles. And I will tell you, going back to the All in the Family, because she is a biracial, half Black, half white woman who has been passing her whole life as white. And it is it is revealed that she is of mixed race, and she and her husband leave the boat. And it's starts off happy when she's the star of the Showboat, and then it turns into a very tragic ending for her. But I remember when I got cast in this, and I don't know, there's so many things about the role and who she is that really speak to me personally.
Isn't it so good that when you're given a role and you can actually relate, it's so much easier to actually not just, even though you've never done the role or you've never lived that era, there's still that blood relation that you say, why do I feel like I'm connected to this role?
Well, right? Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I've told this story maybe a couple times before, but I'll never forget when I premiered this role at the Lyric. I think that was also 2012, maybe 2013. I remember I was on my way to rehearsal one day. I was in a taxi cab it was a white driver, and another driver cut him off, and the driver in the other car was Black. And my taxi driver, made a racial slur. And he sort of turned back to me like, don't you agree? Thinking that I was white. And
oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh
and
my.
expecting me to agree with him. And I realized, he does not realize I am, he does not realize I'm half Black. He doesn't realize I'm a woman of color. And I just sort of kept my mouth shut because he was very angry. And I was like, I've got like 4 more blocks to go. I want to stay safe. But I was very sort of shaken by it. And I walked into rehearsal and people could tell, they're like, what just happened? I was like, I had an inadvertent Julie and Showboat moment. You know what I mean? No, seriously, like seriously, I'm a woman who inadvertently was mistaken, yes, for being white, and was shown racial prejudice against my own people, but I felt like I couldn't say anything for my own safety. And that was in 2000 whatever, 2012, 2013. And I just like a moment like that, I'm like, yeah, this is why I need to sing the role of Julie. Like, I get it. I get her experience as much as one can. Yeah.
Now you mentioned about, there's what is that? A backstory to all of this you mentioned, and tell us about this.
So that is a photo from Blue Monday, which is Gershwin's earliest opera. It's sort of the predecessor to Porgy and Bess. It's only about a 25-minute, like one act. And I did that with on-site opera twice, actually. The original, I think, I don't know, it was in maybe 2014 or something. And then we redid it last year for their gala. And that's Vi is her name. And
this is a predecessor to Porgy and Bess, correct?
Yeah. It's like a whole love triangle, and then she ends up shooting the guy, and yeah.
And then this is another picture from that show. I mean, even when you're cast like this, like, why does she never looks ugly on stage? It's not fair.
Hey, no, it was a great wig. And what was so cool about this, and I have to give another shout out to On-Site Opera and Eric Einhorn and his whole team. The whole thing is that they were one of the first companies to shoot like on location, in the actual setting where the scene would have taken place. So this was done at the Cotton Club in Harlem. And I have to tell you, I had been singing at the Met at this point for probably 10 years. I had more people come to see me at the Cotton Club in this tiny thing over the course of 3 nights, probably than ever came to see me at the Met, just because it was such a cool and intimate experience. And you felt like you were part of the action. I mean, and after opening night, like the tickets just sold like that. So, and I'm very proud of the success of on-site opera.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now we go to, this is like all this. It's like, look at me. It's like, I wish I could it'll even be much easier if I have like an assistant. But you know what? These days, oh my God, I'm going to go burp. Just a second. Now, let me see. We talk about this. Now we talk about Alyson Cambridge as the trendsetter. Now we're going to show you some pictures of, I always see her in like, oh my God, there's a new photo shoot. Oh my God, there's a new magazine. Oh my God, I see Alyson everywhere, and it's amazing. Okay. This one, I think like you got to explain everything now because, I got it. I got to know. And these are the ones that I'm showing them. So this one is, these are just, go ahead.
So, okay. If you can think back, if y'all remember back in the day when everybody had the same headshots and publicity shots, they were all like this. They were all like this. They were in black and white. Then eventually went to color. But everybody's opera publicity shots look the same. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go with a typical opera or classical music photographer. So I went to a guy who actually shoots for Vogue. And these were, yes, I said, shoot me how you want to shoot me and how you think. And these are some of the photos that came from that. And at the time,
the ones that I showed you, are they all from the same guy?
This is from Enrique Vega. He has shot 2 of my album covers and 4 of my photo shoots. He's absolutely incredible. And I also use the same makeup artist, and I have to give him a shout out, Afan Malik, who a lot of the opera community knows because he does
yeah.
everything with Dario Acosta, who's also amazing. But Afan knows my face, Enrique knows my body, and yeah. So
Are you tripping right now? Because you dropped a lot on the floor. Okay, what is this one now?
That's Enrique.
Enrique again. Oh my!
Yes.
What about this?
Oh, this is David White. So this is a shoot that I did last summer for Spirit and Flesh magazine, and I was styled by Cynthia Altorizo, and I believe I'm trying to remember all the designers. I don't know if that belt is Gautier. I don't remember. Anyway, this is one of the coolest shoots. I think you're going to show some others. Basically, I had 5 different looks, all haute couture, high fashion, all based off of operatic heroines.
So which heroine are we talking
about? Was this one Medea? No. No. I'm not sure who that one. The one that was.
Yes, there is a skull. There's a skull. So it has to be Medea.
Yes.
No? Medea killed the son, right? Salome. There it is. It has to be Salome.
I was like, it's one of those rumors, ladies. Obviously, that's Carmen. And that's Dolce & Yes. Yeah, that's Dolce & Gabbana.
Oh, yeah. I thought this was like, this was like Carmen too. The Revenge of Remendado.
But that is definitely, that's Carmen right there.
And this one, you were at some point you were a cover of the New York Times. Who designed this dress?
Okay, so this is Ramona Caveja, and I will tell really quickly the story behind this. I went to Ramona Caveja's fashion show during Fashion Week, and my friend that I was there with is friends with the woman who's holding the train. Her name is Jolyn Klinga. She is a fashion model and the fit model for Ramona Caveja and their brand ambassador. I ended up meeting the designer after the fashion show. She goes, I know you. And I was like, I don't think you do. And of course, I thought she was mistaking me for the person I'm always mistaken for, Vanessa Williams. And she goes, no, you're an opera singer. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I saw you in Carmen at the Met. And I was like, what? And I couldn't believe that she had remembered it from so long ago. Anyway, we went out to dinner. Jolyn and I became amazing friends. I said, I have this shoot for the New York Times and a concert at Carnegie Hall coming up. Can I come get fitted maybe for one of your gowns? They said yes. And the New York Times photographer who was following me around all day came with me to the showroom. And that was the picture that ended up on the cover. Hello.
Now this one. Wait a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, but I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. You can hear me now, right?
I can hear you now, yes.
Oh, I am cutting out. I'm cutting out. My microphone is messing up sometimes.
Uh-oh.
Is that okay? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Just a second. Just a second.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so one of the things is when my microphone gets unplugged, it goes on mute immediately.
Oh, okay.
Is it the Wi-Fi? Oh, it's the Wi-Fi. Oh my God, okay, sorry, technical difficulties. All right, let's do this. So now we're gonna show something. I Love Lucy. Who is this Lucy we're talking about?
Oh, that's my baby.
I met her in Florentine Opera.
That's my baby.
Can you hear me, Alyson?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So I met Lucy in Florentine, and she was amazing. So just tell us a little about Lucy. She's been with you for 13 years. So
yes, I had Lucy for 13 years, and she traveled absolutely everywhere with me. I got her this summer after I finished my run of Romeo and Juliet at Opera Theater St. Louis. And aside from international travel, she came with me everywhere. So like directors, castmates, general directors, like everybody knew Lucy. And I mean, she was just the most amazing thing. And probably because the life of an opera singer, we're on the road all the time. She was the most consistent partner that I had. And yeah, sadly, she passed a few years ago, and I miss her to this day. I have pictures of her around my apartment, and she was just the best. She was just the best dog ever, and full of so much.
Now we're gonna show a clip of Lucy, but in a very unexpected way.
Today on TMZ.
Coming up,
Alyson Cambridge, she's the opera singer.
This little one is my love, Lucy.
I just got to pick. My dogs were at the beach yesterday. They're posing on a park bench.
With their real parents?
How's it going, Alyson?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Alyson Cambridge, she's the opera singer. She's Matt.
I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No? Didn't know? We got her out at the Humane Society.
This little one is my love, Lucy.
She was just talking about her dog. Travels everywhere with her.
Came back just for this event. It's really important for us to support the Humane Society of New York.
I just got to pick. My dogs were at the beach yesterday.
And I think that's all we need to see about that. I'm just, in my opinion, really, it is the only thing. He's like, it's TMZ. Look it up online. But anyway, so
that was her big star moment.
I know. So that's it. Now we're gonna go to. Now that we're done with that, I'd like to talk about Rocktopia and Rock Me Amadeus Live. So which one would you like to talk about first?
Well, I will say, I'll give the genesis of how everything happened. So I made my Broadway debut in 2018 in a show called Rocktopia. And we ran on Broadway, I think, for 6 weeks. And it was an absolutely amazing experience. Fusing together different genres of music. And I played sort of the ice queen diva with an insane corset.
Yes.
And it was an awesome experience. And we did two small national tours as well. And then when that sort of went away, the music director and I, we just sort of put our heads together and we said, Rocktopia was something amazing, but we feel like we can do something even bigger, even more exciting, including even more genres of music. And so that is when Rock Me Amadeus was born. And it is a fusion of rock, pop, hip hop, classic rock, opera, soul, symphonic music. And we have the most insane cast, Broadway stars, rock stars, opera people. My good buddy, many of you guys who are watching might know, Victor Ryan Robertson. That is my business partner and our musical director, Tony Bruno, who is really is a rock guitar legend. And so, we're the co-producers and the co-creators of the show. And and we launched about 2 months ago, and we released our first full-length music video, which is a mashup of The Police's Roxanne with the habanera from Carmen. And we released that about 3 weeks ago, and it's gotten an amazing response. And I'm just so excited and that people are interested in this fusion. And the thing is, like, it pays respect to all the different genres. Like, we don't try to dumb anything down. It's about making opera more sexy and accessible to an audience that wouldn't necessarily be drawn to it, and vice versa. So maybe people who aren't rock people are like, no, I'm more into classical. Oh, wait, listen to one of these mashups and see how cool it can be and how the two genres actually fuse together and influence one another so much. So I'm so proud of Rock Me Amadeus, and we will start with live shows, fingers crossed, now that we have a vaccine, in summer or fall of 2021.
So I skipped it earlier. So I'm now going to show you like a couple of clips of Alyson singing in her, on her, of course, operatically as the pop world would say. And then the third I believe the fourth one, the clip, we'll do a little bit clips of different here and there, but the fourth clip that you'll see is the one that is from the Rock Me Amadeus. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
The fourth one. So here it is, Alyson Cambridge. The first one will be from Showboat, and the next one is a clip of her singing. Actually, it's the third one. So the second one would be her singing a pop song, and then the third one would be Roxanne. All right? Roxanne Carmen, as you call it. So here it is. My bad. I did not have the Showboat ready. So basically, this is all these three are the non-operatic ones, like all the projects that Alyson have been doing.
I'm feeling mighty lonesome, haven't slept a wink. I walk the floor and watch the door, and in between I drink black coffee. Love's a hand-me-down brew. I never know a Sunday in this weekday room. Every breath you take, every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you. Every single day, every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
And now I'm gonna play for you in its entirety. What is the title of this specific one?
We call it Roxanne Carmen.
Roxanne Carmen.
Roxanne Carmen.
You're singing here on Roro After Midnight.
Those days are over. You don't have to sell your body to the night. Roxanne, you don't have to wear that dress tonight. Walk the streets for money. You don't care if it's wrong or if it's right. Roxanne, you don't have to put on the red light.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in honor of Roxanne Common, a little bit of a costume change, isn't it? Look at that. She's my fan. Oh, there you are. Oh my God, I couldn't see. It's like, yeah, it's not. It's like to go into the same realm as Allison's fabulousness and fashion. I got my Fox. This is back in the 70s kind of thing. So, don't judge me. So just to remind everyone, please go to www.rockmeamadeuslive.com and check them out. They will have live shows starting in 2021. So yes. So just a recap. It brings together some of the greatest talents from the worlds of rock, pop, and classical music. So as you can see from what we just saw. All right. So now we go to something on out of the music world or something like that. Alyson is also very, very active in charities and special what is that? Special
Charity.
Yes, and give it back. And these are the some of the organizations that she supports. Tell us about how is it? I mean, first of all, how do you have time, or how do you balance all of this?
I mean, a lot of it actually is very organic, and it's just something that it's always just been part of me and part of what I do. And I mean, I grew up volunteering even when I was in school, but I feel like we've been given such an amazing platform and opportunity to elevate and to give back as musicians. So I've been working with Sing for Hope, for example, with Camille Zamora and Monica Yunus, which they founded, years ago. I've been working with them for almost 10 years now, where we go into hospitals and schools and underserved communities, doing performances and concerts. And it's just an amazing, amazing charity. The Fresh Air Fund, I've been working with a lot in the past, I'd say 3 years. And this is, they send kids from underserved communities to summer camps in upstate New York. And I've been up to the camp for 2 summers to sing for the kids at Camp Mariah, which is a career development program of one of their many camps. And I go and I sing and I hang out with all the campers, and it's so much fun. And the kids are so enthusiastic. And then another one that I've been working with a lot lately, which actually isn't listed there, is Daniel's Music Foundation. And they provide music lessons and music classes and parties for kids with developmental disabilities and whatnot. And I've been working with them just for about a year. And actually last year, my concert that I did at Carnegie Hall, the proceeds went to benefit Daniel's Music Foundation. And the Trush family is just so incredible. And I was just so moved when I went to their school, their music school, up on, I believe, 123rd. And I went to some of the classes, I met some of the students, and I got to know the family. And it was just really important for me to support them. And they're just an incredible organization, as are all of these organizations that I've worked with before. Canines for Warriors, pairing up dogs with veterans who have PTSD. Absolutely amazing organization. And obviously, as a dog lover and person myself, to know that that dogs can have this amazing effect and ability to heal and allow people with PTSD and these different sensitivities when they come back from war, to allow them to emerge back into society and not be afraid, because they have that protection of their service animal with them. They're just incredible. So all of it comes from my own desire, and I want to be with these organizations. I believe in all of their missions, so it's easy to find time, actually, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, however and whenever you could give back, and that's your way of helping. So now, now we come to, like, in case everyone wants to check out Alyson's, like, the stuff that she has done that are available on iTunes and Amazon. There are stuff that is available, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. There's a couple of them that at least that I was shared with. The first one is, it's called the From the Diary of Sally Hemings. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sally Hemings. And I know Lydia. Oh my God, Lydia played for you.
Yeah.
And this is, so tell us a little about what this CD, at least what
Yes.
it is about.
So this is about the relationship between Sally Hemings, who was the young slave, and I don't want to say the wrong term, slave mistress, slave / companion to Thomas Jefferson. Yes, and with whom she bore many children. And this song cycle is sung in the first person as diary. They're fictitious diary entries from her at the age of 9 through the entire relationship with Jefferson until he dies. So it starts when she's, a young girl at Monticello. Then she goes off to Paris with him, comes back. She's pregnant. She becomes sort of his companion throughout the rest of his life and has children with him. It's a very complex, very intense, very emotional story. And Bill Bolcom has written just amazing music, and the text and libretto by Sandra Seaton it's so dense and so juicy. And I actually just performed it again this summer with the Glimmer Glass Festival, and you can also watch that performance on YouTube. Or go to glimmerglass.org, and you'll see the link to watch that full performance from this summer that I did of it.
Will this be available? That same link, will this be available from your website?
Yes, you can get this album on my website, or you can go on YouTube and see the full video from this summer. I don't have the link from the Glimmer Glass on my website yet, but I will.
All right, and then this is the next one, Sisters in Song.
Yes, with my sister Nicole Cabell. She and I did a recording with CD Records, which is Jim Ginsburg, the late Justice Ginsburg's son. It's his record label in Chicago. And Nicole and I have been great friends since our days at the Chautauqua Institution as young artists, when we were still in undergrads in college. And we always wanted to do something together. And we did this with the Lake Forest Symphony. We never could sing together because we sang so much of the same repertoire. So we were never cast in the same show. One time we were double cast as Musettas.
You're right. Yeah.
But we got together and we said, let's do an album of opera duets, African-American spirituals, and songs. And the songs and the spirituals are all original arrangements just for me and Nicole.
All right, here's a clip of, I think I'll be able to play all of it. Here's a clip of Nicole and Alyson for this, in promotion of this album.
Nicole Cabell and I were actually longtime friends. We met when we were college students at a Young Artist program, and as our careers progressed over the years and our voices developed, we ended up singing a lot of the same repertoire.
So we got talking about 7 years ago and said, wouldn't it be great if we had an album with just the two of us singing duets?
So we looked to sort of albums from the past and artists that we admired and thought about the things that they had done on their albums and drew from that for some inspiration. One of the big inspirations, of course, was Kathleen Battle and Jesse Norman. They have an amazing duets album of spirituals together. And so we kind of wanted to pay homage to them.
Alyson and I are very fortunate to have been able to collaborate with the composer Joe Clark, who was able to take pieces that were never written for two voices and create beautiful harmonies and also just make them into duets. We were able to include quite a variety of music that we both feel very passionate singing.
We picked everything from the classical operatic repertoire to more sort of American and classical songs, as well as African American spirituals.
The repertoire selected by these wonderful singers actually
highlights three separate genres put together in a very unique way.
Yes! Yay! Oh my God, that was amazing. You know what? I know I've mentioned it before, and then I don't know. It's like I don't know how. I always say, how do people feel when I always mention it? But I always mention it because there are people who watch and people who always want you want to instill in them and like really always reassure them. Both Alyson and Nicole are of mixed race. And it has, I mean, I always bring that up because especially now where there's so many, and at least they know, it's someone to look up to, that they know, oh my God, it's part of the society. It's not like taboo back in the day. No, it is now like, you know what, everything has to be like this, everyone's equal, everyone's the same. It's like, don't worry about who you are,
And I will say, and I don't feel that I'm speaking out of turn here. That was one of the reasons I think that Nicole and I even first connected when we were at Chautauqua. We were still at an age, like an era back then, and we're talking like very early 2000s, like or late 90s even. And people were still like, what are you? And just like so curious to define and like put you in a box. And yeah, and Nicole, she was like, oh my gosh, yeah. She's like, I get it all the time. People are like, what are you? Are you really Asian? Are you really Black? And same thing to me. Like, what are you? Can't tell. And we just had so many experiences that we bonded over that so much. Growing up in, I grew up in predominantly white communities, and just the questioning, the uncertainty, and that feeling of wanting to belong but not quite fitting in. I feel like we've come such a long way though, but there's so much further.
So much. At least now it's like, yeah, at least now it's every mixed race can be not for lack of a better word, in the normal kind of situation with everyone, kind of like, oh, you know what, but it's still a struggle, but at least it's
much more commonplace. It's much more commonplace now. Like when I was a kid on television, there was nobody that looked like me. It's one of the reasons why, I mean, it's funny that people started comparing me to her later in life, but like I was obsessed with Vanessa Williams when I was like a little kid. Like when she came out with Save the Best for Last, I think I was, I don't know, like 7th grade or something. And I was like,
sing it.
I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, she kind of like, look, she's the same skin color and the same hair and the same eyes. Like and I was like this nerd with the glasses and like the frizzy hair. I was just like, gosh. And like, because she was it. There was nobody else.
Exactly. And it's very important. But now, before you do your final word of encouragement, like I got a couple of friends here who says, Jim Roro, this is so great, amazing stories, Alyson. Thanks so much, both of you. And then that's Jim Albrecht, who is Jim Albrecht. How do I know Jim Albrecht? Because we went to Music Academy together back in 2003, and he's a oh my God, trombone player. Yes, I think trombone player. I have to remind, it's like, okay, their lips are always red. Yep, trombone player or trombone player. It's one of the two. You know what I mean, though, Alyson? So, and then the next one is Kong. Thank you for bringing a new genre of music to me. Look at that. He even typed it. I didn't. Yes. So I think Kong is going to love it. Yes, Rock Me Amadeus. Yeah. Live.com. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure I'm going to put it there again. rockmeamadeuslive.com. Yeah. And now, first of all, thank you very much for coming to our show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so glad that you
see you.
Yes, exactly. And like I said to all my guests, I'd like to do this. I'm glad that I'm able to do this with you. It's part of catching up. Instead of always texting, it's like, you know what? We'll do one show, a whole hour, and then, oh, good, we're good for another 6 months. So thank you again. And before I let Alyson go, I always ask my audience to always like, what's your parting words or your words of advice? And this time I call it words of encouragement, especially, however Alyson and whoever Alyson wants to send this message to. Take it away, Alyson.
I want to send this, I think, to all of my artist colleagues out there. I don't know about anybody else, but when I found out that pretty much an entire year of contracts was gone, for about a month, I was pretty down. The only thing that kept me motivated, frankly, was going running every day. That's my Zen moment of every day. And it's my sort of meditation. And after I sort of got out of that little funk, the ability to try and like pivot. And obviously I've been talking about it a lot today about Rock Me Amadeus and creating that show and working on that during this pandemic. It has given me a new life, a new passion. I can't wait to get back to the stage. But I think my words of encouragement are, even though sometimes the music and the stage won't be there, there are other things that we as creatives can do, and we can continue to create and innovate in other ways. And just don't give up. Think about all the other things that you have in your toolbox, and don't be afraid to step out on that ledge and take a chance and try something new and try something different. People have told me, no, you can't do this. No, you can't sing jazz. No, you should never do Broadway. No, you should never do pop. No, you should never do modeling. No, you should never do this. And I said phooey to all of it. And I said, nope, I'm going to do my own thing and create my own lane. And that, I think, is my biggest word of encouragement to everybody. Don't be afraid to create your own lane or sway between many different ones. You can do it.
Thank you, Alyson. And now for the final part of the program, me again. L'amor prongarda tua